know that I have an identical twin sister? Her name is Erni Wang. She is a financial literacy educator, marketing director of World Financial Group, as well as a partner of bloomingaces.com. Now, she is a graduate of UC Berkeley and has over 8 years of experience as a successful senior project manager, managing timelines for projects as well as team for multi-seven-figure and million-dollar global brands. Now, she actually using all of her knowledge and expertise in management, finance, as well as timelines to help families create a lifestyle that's fulfilling for them. Now, today we will dive in on how she has embraced challenges actually as a mompreneur, raising an autistic son, and how she actually learned through him in being resilient and becoming a better leader and communicator through this whole parenting journey. And we can all learn from this, and I'm very excited to dive in to show you how she did that. And she is a very insightful person. She's beyond my sister. She's my best friend, my partner in life, life journey, I should say. And I think you guys will be really enjoy this particular episode and learn from her. Let's dive in. Hi, welcome Erni to our podcast.
Thank you, Erna, for inviting me and having me today.
Sure. Thank you for spending the time with us today. And I know you're a very super busy mom and also a business owner. So really appreciate you coming on. I would like you to actually first introduce yourself, like your background and also like where you're located and how did you get from your work before all the way to like what you do now. Could you share with us, please?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Erna. So yeah, I actually graduated from, okay, we're from Indonesia, obviously. I graduated from UC Berkeley. That's where I met my soulmate, my husband, John. And basically, since then, my background was as a senior project manager, right? And I absolutely love what I did as a project manager because I get to see the bigger pictures, from design concept to all the way to finished products, right? And I really absolutely enjoy working with clients, and seeing they succeed, with their different programs, especially the holiday programs, right, which is big for them. However, after many years being a senior project manager, what I realized after many years, I became more married to my project timeline than my own family timeline, right? I'm a mom of two. And so as a mom, I constantly I felt guilty for not being able to spend more time with my family, right?
Yeah.
And at a time also, my husband and I actually working both full-time and overtime. Mm-hmm. But somehow we feel like we're not there financially, right? And so there's something missing there, right? And at the time also, my son was diagnosed with autism. So I had to choose between my job and my son, my career and my son, right? And the choice is obvious because my family is very important for me, right? And so I chose to tend to my son's need. And because of it, I have to find other careers, right? And I basically met actually, my sister-in-law is already in World Financial Group in the financial industry, and she told us to introduce me and my husband to her financial mentor, and she was able to retire before the age of 40, multimillionaire. So I learned a great deal of knowledge about finance through her, and we're forever grateful because now we have a freedom of time to be able to spend more time with my family, right? And do what I love. And also I realized that I still get to do what I love to do, which is watching over timelines, but not watching timelines of things necessarily, but watching timelines of people, timelines of family. So, and to me, that's more a fulfilling career, I must say, because I understand I can help more families as well, just like we were helped, And right. For a mom who has a son with special need, that's quite an impact, that a big change for us. So it's like the freedom lifestyle that we really prayed for before. Right. So yeah, I just want to pay it forward to other families.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for sharing that. So a couple questions came to my mind, of course, when you first, I think as moms, like when you first find out about your, son being autistic, right? What was how did you feel about that? And what kind of things you overcome, with John, and as a family. Can you share with us how did you like
Yeah.
how is it like what do you call it? Adjust, the way you live, the way you think,
Mm.
and what did you gain out of all the whole experience from? How old is your son right now? So I was the
Uh,
audience to know.
oh yeah, so he's a New Year baby, so he just turned 8, pretty
Okay.
much like this past few days ago, a couple of days ago.
Great,
Yeah, yeah.
great,
So he just turned 8. Yeah. So,
cool.
yeah. In terms of his journey, when he was like 2 or 3, right? Sometimes that's the time when you start speaking or not speaking. So we
Right.
found out like before we thought it was fine, and then he started having behavior issue for not people who doesn't have understand autistic, and we didn't understand it either at the time. So we thought it was a behavior issue, right? And
Yeah.
what we realized is what we learned from after he's being diagnosed is he just didn't have the language, the expressive language,
Awesome.
to express his feelings, and so he tend to like push people, like kick people, and when
Oh
he's
wow.
frustrated, he just
Yeah.
do that, and he got sent to the principal office multiple times. Okay.
Oh
And
wow.
then and it became a liability for the school, so
Oh.
he practically got suspended from school. Mind you
Oh,
that this is it was like around 2-3 years old, around that time.
wow.
And then and so we paying private school tuition, but he
Oh,
couldn't go to school because of the school was afraid of the
oh
liability
wow.
of him kicking
Wow.
someone else's kid
Mhm.
or pushing someone else's kid. Yeah, so we were like not sure what to do actually. So until the principal was nice enough, because the principal had I believe a nephew who's also autistic, right? And so he
Okay.
said she suggested us to actually get him assessed by the school district.
Mhm.
And so it was a really quick transition. At that
Mhm.
time, I just started a new job, I think, at that time, right?
Yeah,
In a
yeah.
tax company, actually. And I remember the transition after he got diagnosed, it was so quick, like few days, and with autistic kid, right? You need to allow time for transition, but he did not have that transition because the old school did not want to take him because they are not equipped for special need kids, right? So we had a transition over like just like that. And at the time when we transitioned him over,
Yeah.
the school hours was from 9 to 11 the whole week. Mind you, I just started a new job, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And that's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
My husband had a full-time job, and I just didn't job. So and my job in the tax company, it's you have to be there. It's not like you can. I asked them if I can take time off, whatever. You got no seniority, so you
Yeah.
got no. Like either you keep your job or not.
Yeah.
There's no somewhere in between. So of course, obviously, we're like, as much as I was excited about that job, I had to let go that job. Right, I had to let go that job. But
Gotcha.
fortunately, I think I just started being entrepreneur at the time. I already started having a business in finance, which kind of help us, along the line. That I don't have to rely on that source of income necessarily. We also have other one. So to me, it was tough decision, but it was not as tough as if I didn't have my business.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah. So and of course, when that happened, I think I know when I talk to my husband, there's a fear
Mhm.
of the uncertainties, right?
Yes.
How is my son going to be when he's older? How, because we are not familiar with this autism, right, journey. We do not know. So we have to call different people who have, autistic kid or like who's ahead of us, so to get guidance of
Right.
how we're supposed to raise our son.
Yeah.
And then so we learn a lot. But I remember one meeting, the first IEP meeting with a group of experts. This will look like this. Our son. My feeling was I was actually crying in that meeting, not because he was autistic. It's because I was thinking, I was grateful. I was like super grateful that he was diagnosed here in the United States, in California, where the resources for autism
Oh, okay.
is so great, and all these experts come together to see how to raise our son and how to equip our son to the best so he can be the best, right? And it just like the overflowing of gratitude that I had, and I was like crying that meeting because I'm like, wow, all these people come together to see how we can improve my son quality of life. And I
Nice.
thought that was beautiful. I thought that was beautiful. I couldn't hold my tear because I'm like, wow. I mean, how blessed, he was and we were,
Yeah,
that we have this much resources.
yeah,
And can
absolutely.
you imagine if someone, if I were in that country, in Indonesia or something, I don't know what, if they had that,
Right,
So yeah, I'm just grateful. I was just grateful. Yeah.
right. So what was the biggest things that you feel you gain? Because I have because Ernie is like my twin sister, and then oftentimes she share with me like the progress, like whether once a month or every other week, and then like it's she show Ernie show us some of the things that her son can do and have how he progress, and to me that's he amazed me nowadays, so I want you to share with the audience how that what you actually mentioned a couple of times that you learn from your son,
Mhm.
about yourself, about human
Yeah.
communication, I guess people communication. So tell us a little bit more about that because I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, my journey is really intertwined between the business and raising our son, right?
Uh,
It's really really connected. They say things happen for you, right? And
yeah,
really having our son being, he was autistic, but at the same time, like people see it as a disability. But what we learned is he has his genius. Actually, he has his genius,
yeah,
that
yeah,
if we did not, if I'm not there to be present for him, I probably will miss it. I'll
right.
probably will miss it, and I will continue be in fear. But
uh,
however, because we were able to have time to be present for him, right,
yeah,
to really observe him and
right,
understand him,
yeah,
right, so that I learned that he's actually very good with math, very good with math, very good with building, and now he just picked up
wow.
another skill, which is really, really a good artist, actually. Really, really good artist, right? He's really, really can really copy.
What does he do that he likes to do?
He likes to draw. Yeah, now he likes to draw.
Okay.
The moment we gave him a drawing, the magnetic drawing pad,
Uh-huh.
he did not stop drawing. He likes to perfect things. If he
Wow.
sees something, I remember he has a photographic memory
Okay.
of like scenes from movies. In
Oh,
fact, he can actually copy word by word. Okay, but
oh
this is
wow.
like ahead of time. Like before that, actually, he didn't have any language, right? So
Uh-huh.
I owe it to the school district who actually, and the teachers, like the special education teachers, who are very patient and being there for him and provide him with the language. I
Right.
remember like one of the frustration he had, it was like when he likes to do things himself, right? Take on that responsibility, but when he couldn't do it, he was so frustrated and start kicking things, pushing things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
However, the teacher, I remember some of the first words that he learned is help me. Okay.
Wow.
Help me. So when he said help me, he stopped being frustrated. We are not frustrated because now we know that he needs help, that it's time to help
Ah,
him, because before
such
he
a
didn't.
simple thing. Yeah, such
Such
a
a simple
simple thing
thing.
but make a big
Yeah.
difference for sure.
So I learned that language is so key, and not just for kids with special need or like with autism, right? But however, it's also, I can apply that into like, not we us, like language is so important,
Yeah.
what I learned also from financial industry, that
Mhm.
our journey in that,
Yeah.
finance,
Yeah.
being a financial educators, we learn to understand people emotion, what people say, and read between the lines, and also how I remember my mentor always say, like, ask the question, don't make the statement, ask the questions, right? And I adopted that and I learned it and applied to actually our son. The
Mm-hmm.
moment I start asking question, he responded more.
Give
If
me an
I
example. Give me an example
like,
of what kind of questions.
no, he just whatever, like I will give him option. Would you like, Lucas? I mean, do you like this one or that one, right?
Yeah,
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 it's just like two options,
yeah,
two
yeah,
options, and then it really worked with him. Instead of saying go do this, go do that,
yeah, yeah.
didn't do anything. But like
Right.
he recognized questions. He recognized question, like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
give him. My mentor always said, give them the power to choose, right?
yeah.
So I'm giving our son the power to choose between this and that,
Yeah.
and with his personality, he actually very determined person. When he wants something, he wants something, he'll
Right.
get it done, yeah.
Right.
And he will not give up, he will not give up, he just keep going, and keep asking, so yeah. So yeah, I learned the language, how to communicate with him through asking questions,
Yeah.
and then over time there's trust being built between him and I.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so he's more open whenever I say something, he's more open to hearing it, So, but before he didn't trust anyone, but now he trusts his teacher, he trusts us, So it takes time, but at least, now he is a lot better behavior wise, a lot better, like night and day,
Right.
Before he was perceived as being this bad kid with bad behavior, but he actually is very sweet and smart,
Yes.
little boy. He's really thoughtful and giving. Actually, he doesn't mind sharing.
Right.
Always likes to share. Yeah. And he's not the type who like will ask for. Okay, I saw that on TV. I want that. I want this. No, he didn't. He actually just a happy little kid. So we're very happy where he's at right now, and and how he responds to even distant learning right now.
Gotcha. That's so cool. Do you have like any like advice for like people that don't have like a special need children, right? And like when you're like out in public, let's just say he might have like thrown a tantrum or something, and how would you like suggest people to like perceive that so that it's we share empathy, compassion, understanding? Do you have anything? I think being the fact you're explaining about this whole process that it's just a matter of language, I think it really gives us some insight on what's going on in his heart and in his mind, which is kind of helpful. But at the same time, like I want to also dive into directly, like if people do not have that kind of understanding, what would you like to tell them?
Actually, I learned from this journey when I was asking different parents with kids who have autistic kid, right?
Mhm.
I realized that every autistic kid is different, have different strength and different weaknesses. So you cannot compare one or the other, and you think that journey is different. Everyone has different journey. So that's what I learned, that I need to understand my son. Don't use someone else's kid to my son. I cannot apply like that. I have to really listen, right? And I remember, I think as parents, we need to be their advocate. What I mean by that is you need to be mentally tough in public, mentally tough to create a discipline. You cannot be embarrassed in front of the people. And when someone, there are a couple of, I remember 2 incidents. The first one, the first one when we were feeding the duck at the park. He was just being whatever, right, like being himself, and he was start chasing the ducks and feeding the duck, whatever, chasing the duck, right? And I remember this one older gentleman, well, actually not gentleman, I won't call him gentleman. He was start scolding my son for chasing the duck. He was just having fun, not doing anything, right? So that he was so, and then he went to me and start scolding me.
Oh wow.
And then meanwhile, my daughter, who's very sensitive, started crying.
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing much we can say or do, right? As parents.
That one.
If someone already decided they're gonna yell and scold at you and without understanding what's going on, right? There's nothing much you can do.
Yeah.
All you can do is just have a conversation with your kids afterwards,
Yeah. Right.
whether or not that's right or not. Like they did not know what happened, they did not know your situation, right?
Right.
You cannot blame them for it.
Yeah.
They're gonna say what they say, So as parent, we have to be mentally tough, first of all, and be their advocate, right?
Yeah.
And number 2, I remember another incident at church, right? And so he will be not throwing tantrum, like just being loud, being himself, right? Whatever, right? But when I'm trying to teach him something, is like when we're at certain places, you need to be certain behavior, right? I need to teach them. And the first, during the transition, you have to stand your ground. So I have to do this a couple of times. Like I will take him out. He was kicking and screaming. I drag him out of the church and put him in like outside, right? Because then he felt like excluded. He liked to be included. Excluded. And I'm like, we're gonna stay here. Your voice has to be super calm, right?
Yeah.
Because this is not about me being upset at you. It's more like this is a place where we're quiet and pray. And if you're not ready to do that, that's fine. Let's go outside. Let's go outside. When you're ready to go back, then we'll go back. When you're not ready, I'm gonna sit and stand here with you until you're ready.
I love that. I love that distinction when you mentioned to him that you supported him. This is not about us. We're good here. I think that establishing that this is you basically like separating the issue and the behaviors, which is great. It's not like a personal attack. And I find this really, really inspiring because oftentimes, like when someone, like, or even ourselves, like, get critics, and we felt like personally attacked versus like the behavior being corrected, you know what I mean? So I think this is like really, really good the insight for not just children, like you said, but also for like people in general, when interacting with
Actually, you're right. He's very, very sensitive. He does not like to be told he's wrong. He does not. He will throw a tantrum. Oh yeah, that's like everyone. That's like everyone. He will go like crying.
People in general don't like to be told whatever it is,
So I have to, I remember you asked me about like questions, right? There's one turning point to me. The church incident, the church stuff, right? There are times when he was doing like that, and then someone in front of us just turn around and scold us in the church about like, can you be, like make your kid behave or something like that, right? So I remember my sister-in-law, Cami, she was also a special need kid advocate, right? She was fuming because like, and my daughter was crying again. So so but I'm like, they don't know. What can you do? Right? You just have to smile and act as if like nothing happened, because my son read my expression. My son doesn't look at my sister, her expression, or my daughter's expression. He look at my expression. If I did not stay calm, cool, collected, he knows something wrong. So so mental toughness is key here. And also I remember the turning point, or meaning like the question, right, that tweaked him to right now he's a lot better at church or something like that. Like I asked him, Lucas, all right, can you do better? Can you do better? I did not think that question will resonate with him. Right? Until the next week when we went to church again. And then he behaved. And then he told me, do better. So which means what I asked him, he processed, he understood, and he is trying to do better, And so I'm like, that question worked. Sometimes it's trial and error, right? You never know what.
It sounds loving, Can you do better? I
think
can you do better? I think we can all use that phrase, can we do better? Can you do better? That's a good phrase.
Really so it resonates because it doesn't really judge you. It doesn't say that you're bad. I think yourself, right? I think we always say that in the entrepreneurial world as well. Can we do better, right? And we strive to be our best self, right?
It's like the base of it is like, I accept you. Let's grow together. That
exactly.
That's it. Message.
That's it. The unconditional acceptance, unconditional love and acceptance is what make him feel at peace. I think.
I think if you feel like you have his back, and that's why he respect you and trust you. And that's why he wants to do better, for you. So that's an awesome thing to share. Thank you. And is there anything? Oh, I have two questions came up. The first one is how, like, do you have anything? I think you want to share something with our audience about what something that he did really. I think it struck you in the heart, and you want to share with our audience. Would you like to tell us what that is?
Yes, actually, for this Blooming Aces community, like we're all entrepreneurs, right? And then at that time, as I'm in this autism journey with my son, seems like sometimes things happen for you. Sometimes what you observe, and then you found insight along the way, right? That you did not, And actually, I don't know. You want to share that image?
Oh, okay. You want me to? Okay, put it on the screen. Okay, I'm gonna screen share this right now.
And I will tell you the story. Yeah, I can see it, Erna.
Yeah, all right. So this is a picture.
Yeah, so this is the picture on the left. Actually, no, the picture on the left. I'm going to ask the audience, like, have you ever thought about building palm trees out of Jenga blocks, or blocks in general, right?
So, I was wondering about that when you mentioned it before.
Yeah, so I was like, what is this he's building, right? My son building this one. He loves to build, okay? He loves to build. And then so he wants to build this whatever it is he was building. And then he asked, because he has this vision of like what he want to build, right? And then he asked me for a tape, you know, a couple of pieces of tape. And I'm like, what is it for? Like, I said, I'm building something. Like, he didn't say, like, he just want a piece of tape. I want a piece of tape. Yeah, he didn't have language at the time, you know, he just wanted a piece of tape, you know. So I was like observing, okay, here you go, the piece of tape. And then he's trying to put this piece of tape together at the very top of this, you know, like as he's building, right? And then he's trying to tape it together. I was like, that is gonna fall, you're wasting tape, you know. I was just like saying all this like negative thing around him. Like, you know, I don't believe in, like he's gonna fall, you know.
Yeah.
So I said that multiple times, right? And then it's like, and then he didn't like respond to me. He just focused on like what he was envisioning. He put the tape where he think he's supposed to go, and then he finally built this 4 thing, right? And I immediately thought it's gonna fall like that in like a few seconds. It stayed for a few days.
Oh wow, impressive!
Then,
Wow.
what I realized was I was looking at the window, right? If you look at the right pictures here, there are these palm tree outside our house, our old house, right? At the time we were living there. And he constantly looking at and fascinated by the 4 palm tree. He loved these 4 palm trees particularly. And I was comparing the two. I'm like, I think he was building in a palm tree, because if you look at the height.
Yes, it's like almost exact.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like the detail of this, you know, everything.
Wider and small. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm like, I think he was trying to build this palm tree. And then I just realized, I'm like, a lot of time, this is like a message that I, not at the time I grasped immediately, but later on I'm like, wait a minute, you know. So a few things I learned from this, like with entrepreneurship, right? We have the vision that most people do not understand.
Right.
There are the people who love us will doubt us because they don't understand our vision, right? And the people who like, even like as we're building it, they will keep saying like it's gonna fall, it's gonna like, you know, it's not gonna last, you know, it's gonna think, whatever. But he was so determined and he was so focused, and he believed in his vision, that because he loved this palm tree so much, he wants to try to replicate with his own blocks, right?
Yeah.
And he did it, you know, he did it.
Yeah.
Completely shut me out. I was like completely silent. I was like, okay, he was right, you know.
Himself right.
Yeah, and from these 3 pictures, it just always remind me. I think one of our mentor mentioned before is like doubt your doubts before you doubt your vision, right? So basically, like, it just resonates with me as an entrepreneur. Like all the time we fall, and we sort of have certain vision that people think is crazy, you know, people think it's gonna, you know, fail, whatever, right? So why does it matter, right? As long as you believe it, right? And you have a plan of attack. He does. He had a tape. I tried to rebuild this myself. I couldn't. Because you have to understand every single piece of this block, okay? How one has to stack on top of the other, not the other piece, this particular piece. Right. And this also tells us about if you have a team, you need to know what has to go on top of the other, you know. You have to know the role of your teammate, their strength, and where you need to position them in order for you to have this beautiful final products, right? The final vision.
I have goosebumps with this vision and insight.
Yeah, kind of like what you said, Erna, about puzzles, right? It's similar, right? It's you really, like when I was observing him multiple times building, he actually keep rebuilding, and like when we move, you know, he will try to rebuild this again, right? And so he still managed to. I couldn't do it, you know, because you have to. It takes patience, it takes precision, and knowing each piece and where to put them. Yeah. In order to replicate this, right? This is so good. Yeah. So he studied every single piece. And this is where
he tried a couple times. Did he try multiple times?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it fell so many times before. Before, until he figured out he needed that tape. I'm like, wait a minute.
You know how long did it take him?
I don't know, months.
Oh my gosh, she patient, guys.
But I did not pay attention until he started asking me for tape. Then I'm like, you're wasting my tape. Right? You're wasting my tape. That's when I stopped paying attention. You know, and then so, but I'm sure he started building this like weeks, months, I don't know how long, but like when I start paying attention to this thing, right, it's when I was like realize, you know,
I love this, like the connection, the analogy between like his journey and his like determination, right, with his vision and also entrepreneurship. you, like you said, you start noticing only when things like, start coming together,
Mhm. Yes.
when he asks for help or something, and then sometimes, like, this is like entrepreneurs is so good, because like a lot of time we're doing, like, we're busy doing our, going for our vision, and nobody even noticed that it's going on until it's
Mhm.
actually like there is, something. You see, you ask for help or something, and people say, oh, what are you doing there, and but before that, it's all you. It's all
Mhm.
you. But then you
Yeah.
learn, that's so good.
Mhm.
Such
And
a
I
good.
learned that right now, actually, not only he's begin in this journey, not only he began to trust me, but I began to trust in his vision.
Yes.
Before I was like, negate, right? I'm like, oh, I know better, right? But you know what? I'm like, sometimes your kids are God's voice. They're
Yes.
trying to teach you a lesson.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, okay, take the time. What he's trying to teach me, what is God is trying to teach me through him, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes, like, I truly believe things happen for you. And he is the way he is for a reason, to teach me things that I
Yeah.
otherwise will not hear from other people,
Right. Right.
because it's my son and I'm his advocate. I have to understand what he's trying to, achieve, what he's trying to tell me, so.
Excellent. That's great share. I love this is like golden nuggets right here, I'm gonna stop the share. Is that cool with
Yeah,
Ernie?
sure.
And then so did I stop share already? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I also like noticed when as you were talking, for some reason I have this flashback when we were younger, right?
Mhm.
And I remember I believe that you used to like um I don't know how to say it. Like you almost forgot to communicate what is in your mind. Like you assume people will understand, right? Like I don't know if you remember this. Like I think in a relationship, or whatever, like you sometimes assume people gonna read your mind, and you forgot to say it, and you think that, oh, if you care about me, you should. But I think, how does that change you in your relationship by having your son being in this condition?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just talking to my husband, that I still struggle with that. Like
Yeah.
communication. I think my mentor said, like,
Mhm.
sometimes people think that you already communicate something, but you haven't. It's
Right.
in your head,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I still struggle with that, actually. And I want, actually, this year 2021 is something I want to improve on, the communication
Okay.
skills, and
Mhm.
how you communicate, how do you show up as a woman, how you show up as a wife, mom, daughter, sister, right, leader, and all that, right? So I am working on that in 2021. I want to be better at that, the communication aspect of it,
Yeah.
and definitely, having my son is really, make me understand there's separation. Okay, like they say, like, love the sinner, not the sin,
Mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
hate the sins, but not the sinner, and
Correct.
same thing here. Like, you love, I love my son, and but if, let's say, sometimes the language is not quite the one that I like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just some husband and
Agree.
wife, same thing.
Mhm.
You love your husband, I love my husband, but sometimes our language can be improved, can we be more respectful to each other?
Right.
Is the language that we need to identify what is it, not like, oh, this whole person is bad. No. Is
Right.
the whole
Right.
person intentions bad? No. Actually, what I realized, the intention, there's once you have a trust, right? Like, is the language, the language is I
Yeah,
think, yeah, it
you
need to be,
compartmentalize.
correct.
Yeah, compartmentalize like
That's it.
what is it that's not working, what is it can be improved on, type of thing, but not the
Yeah,
whole basic
yeah, you have to identify,
I think that's
what is
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I think it's like a lot of people, like I think in society, we're getting better, I think, as a society to be more
Mhm.
aware of this. But I think we want to kind of emphasize on that too. Like, so Ernie is like
Yeah.
just reminding me about, emphasizing this as well. It's like to make sure that when by you compartmentalizing like the section that needs to be improved on, you're not completely judging the person. You're actually
Mhm.
accepting the person unconditionally, but then
Mhm.
working on certain things that they can help
Mhm.
them as well, not just
Mhm.
helping you but help them,
Yeah.
which is eventually help you.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
a really good question.
And then also, like, part of it, like, I'm also observing from our leaders in the financial industry, like, my mentors,
Yeah.
I can feel that they love us where we're at, like, so in turn, when we're become a leader, right, became a leader, we want to love our teammates where they're at,
Mm.
and guide them. You
Yeah.
kind of have to project what they can be, before they believe in themselves, like you have to kind of project that, and then that you see more down the line than they are because they're stuck in that situation. Like we were stuck in our situation at the time, um, and then like they actually put the visions, like the belief, everything, right? And it's just same thing with my son, like, our son, we put the belief and the vision where he could be, right? And we just guide them, tweak him, right? And then so then he before you know it, he is there, he's there, and then it can be more, so we constantly challenge him. He constantly challenge us. Actually, challenge us. Actually, he challenged us a lot. Yeah, and
you
we just
definitely have a
grow.
lot of patience. I seen you have struggle sometimes, but then you manage to like get over it, and he is like so like awesome now. So proud of you guys and so proud of him.
And then right now, because my husband John can actually spend more time with him now, freedom time with him, so he a little bit more understanding. He also get to know our son more, and I'm glad that he was able to do that. So now even our son also listened to him, and he like the way he interact with his dad and with me is different, very different. Yeah,
What
he
about
even
his sister? What his sister? How is he with his sister?
his sister not spending much time yet, but I'm working on that, so I'm trying to work on that. And actually we communicate. We have a book, hold on, let me get it. It's called, let me just show it to you.
Sure.
It's called The Reason I Jump. This is a really good book, to understand. This is written by someone who's autistic, a 13-year-old boy with autism.
Really?
Yes. Really good book. Simple reading. It just tells you like what went through in his head, in their head, right? As he do certain things, What I learned is actually when I was reading this one, the reason I jump, right? They actually love jumping. Jumping helped them, actually. And I was remembering like we were trying to do a exercise regimen, me and him, because I know he's very routine based, right? Whenever I introduce new routine, he just follow it. So I figure, who's a better accountability partner than him, right? He gonna tell me like, I want to exercise now, So and then one of the things that was like, the jumping jack, right? I do the jumping jack. He loves jumping. I'm like, I couldn't understand like why he loved that one so much, right? But then I read this book. I'm like, that's why. He loves to jump. Like, oh, okay, then let's do jump more then. So and then you become more intentional. Now you know that that's what he likes. Then you can just do that. So sometimes this is the book to pick up. So like right now we're in a good place. Of course, distance learning is poses a little bit more challenge right now because he was in the process of learning about socialization, being social, like interaction with people. Then it's really hard right now with distance learning, really hard, difficult, challenging, very challenging.
Sure.
However, we really enjoy his speech class because everyone get to unmute, right? Unmute, and everyone can, say and get a turn to say things.
Right.
Just like two other students with him, So it's good that he actually get to say things because in the normal class, everyone has to mute, right?
Right.
Because it's just talking, and you have to raise your hand, and with 30 other kids or something, sometimes you don't get a turn. So it is challenging because he's the type who wants to contribute to the class. When he know the answer, he wants to be picked. Don't want to be picked. He wanted to be picked. Okay. So, and then sometimes like when he didn't get a turn, he will just unmute himself. It's like, I didn't get a turn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and then, we had a conversation with the teacher, how he loved to participate in class when he know that what to say. So now the teacher understand, like, when he raised his hand, he want to be picked. So the teacher was really, really nice in accommodating that,
Sure. That's
so
cool. And so that, oh my gosh, there's so many like insight. I feel like we need to have a follow-up like podcast for a lot more. But I do want to talk about your business too, like the two things that you're working on, like which is like being a strategic partner of grooming aces, and at the same time you also financial educator and marketing director at the World Financial Group, right? So how do you how's that relate to your purpose in life? Like how do you like make? There's a lot of responsibility on all the things you do, plus you being a mom, and how do you like kind of put that together?
I do want to speak about the strategic partner part of Blooming Aces, because I know you're building, you understand not everyone is meant to do finance. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I know you Erna, you love the community, to have that community of self, a growth community, right? The growth community where
Yes.
we help each other outgrow
Yes.
in our journey.
Right.
And I think that's what I believe in your vision, Erna, about creating a community that support each other, right?
Yes.
No matter what your background, let's find your superpower. Just like I discover our son's superpower, right?
Yeah.
Autism is not a disability, is a superpower. His superpower is
Yes.
very particular
Yes.
and precise in certain things, right? That very precise. So it's all about finding your superpower in life, right?
Yeah.
And use that to shine the light, right? To
Yes.
to bring light to the world.
Yes.
And and then hopefully shine light to other people too, right?
Yes.
You'll become that, like you're in the light and you shine that light to other people.
Sometimes like I noticed that regarding about that shining the light part, it's like sometimes it's like if you being just in your superpower zone, your light like you don't even have to intentionally shine your light. It's already glowing. You know what I'm saying? You're already glowing and people just come. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Actually, my mentor said, one of our mentors, like Mark Shatar, he said it. I think it makes perfect sense. Like when you shine so much light to other people, the light is so bright that it bounces back to you. And that is so true.
Yeah.
When you shine so much light to other people and it just bounces back to you. And I'm like, okay, I got it. So basically, like, let's shine more light to other people, right? Eventually, like, if you shine the right light at the right people, it will shine back at you, right? I mean, that's not the goal, but
like I'm gonna be like a little bit of that. Do you mind if I'm being like devil advocate a little bit on this one? Yeah. I think the action of like shining the light out versus shining from within, right? So there's two different intention. Like shining the light is like to shine light to other. The intention is to help other. But when you're shining the light from within, is you're focusing on your purpose and advancing your cause, right? And then so which one is it, right? And the thing is, somehow I think in a way, like if you shine, like if you're focusing on like your light, it's not like a selfish thing. It's actually you're focusing on your genius, like your son, right? He's building his thing. He's not trying to like shine his light to you or anybody else. He just focus on his zone of genius. And honestly, I feel like that's what inspiring about him, because the result that he brought from just creating and realizing that it's attracting the right people. So you're not necessarily picking, who am I shining light to? No, because it's not up to you. You don't know what people's going through, right? And then it's actually like when you shine as bright as like what Mark was saying, and then you will attract the people that are meant to be attracted, and then that's
exactly.
Makes sense,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. That's the right word. The attract is the right word. It's really definitely what I learned about that. Like sometimes we're too busy about pleasing other people. You don't have to, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to please. Like you don't shine the light to please other people, or so people recognize you. No, like you shine the light because you see the good in them. You see their strength, and like let's recognize them, right? And then same thing, like you need to also recognize your strength, right? Sometimes you don't recognize your strength. Someone else might. Like my mentor will shine the light on, like they will call out my strength. And then so now I learn, how to, work on my strength, right? I'll actually work on my weakness too, right? And so that once you have a grasp of your superpower, that's when that attract your tribe. Like I know our teammate will say use the word tribe, right? Attract your tribe, right? Yeah, my ultimate always say that.
Tell me how this, I mean, we know each other since we were born. Or born before born.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I kick you out to the world.
You didn't say like after you.
I think you were
after you. Yeah. So we really don't know who's older, because
was I that polite?
I think so. Not like you go. So yeah, either way it worked out. So the thing is, I think I've noticed so much growth with in you, as I think as a leader, as a role model. To me, I see that a lot. And a lot of this growth also from just being a mom, like with some, some unusual challenges, and then also how you actually work with a lot of people in like project management, your past, right? And then you also work with, like you said, people's timeline, in your financial industry. And then, now you're also helping with Blooming Aces growth, So there's a lot of pieces here in your journey that I feel that you can share with us. What was the biggest lesson that you learned that you wanna kind of share with us? Like, do you have like anything that you could have done better, or is there anything that you feel that most people can learn from you that can collapse their time frame in like their learning curve, in like, let's say, the finance, for example, or planning their life?
I learned that the importance of having the right mentor in your journey.
I see.
Mentor who's ahead of you, right? Ahead of you. Like, if let's say you want to be somewhere, like you find that right mentor that have that life that you wanted. Right?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right. Don't find a mentor that you don't want, life that you don't want. You want the mentor that have it all according to you. What you believe to be true, right? Whatever that is, because my vision of what that is, my end goal is different from other people. So find that right mentor that will take you there, because they've been there before, right? Because it's so important, because sometimes you get sidetracked and all that. And few mantras that I learned in this journey is one. I got this from Erni Wang. But things happen for you, right? You have to believe that things happen for you. It doesn't matter, people quit on you, people like, tell you things, or, that, don't believe in you, whatever, doesn't matter. Or like, things didn't work out the way you planned it, right? Just things happen for you. What did you learn, right? So the focus is not about, oh, this happened to me, the victim mentality thing does not work in entrepreneur, right? Being a business owner, you have to drop that.
Erni,
You have to take,
I don't know if you realize, I remember when you said this the first time to me, like, I think 2 years ago, whenever you shared this with me, and since then it become my mantra too. And I share it with people. So this is like Erni sharing, like, say at my sharing his life, like he might get it from somewhere, but he's sharing it, and you're the right person, picks up on it, right? You got attracted by that message. And
I caught it, and because I needed it,
right. And then at this right time, you shared that with me, and then I adopted it in my life, which have propelled me a lot too. And then I'll have people coming to me and sharing their situation, and I'm passing that on. It's kind of like a ripple effect, and that's how I think the life being passed on, infinitely. I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Trust that you adopt.
That's one. That things happen for you always. I test it over and over through life challenges. Life challenges, like, okay, every time I feel better. Okay. Number two, when you're down and you're have doubt and stuff like that, just be grateful. Grateful will turn things around like that.
Yes.
If you're frustrated with someone, whatever, kind of like even yourself, like, what is you grateful for? Like, what are you grateful for, right? What are you grateful for? Like, why did you even marry that guy? like what are the things you put yourself, like, grateful, just so start switching your mindset from negative to positive, right?
Yeah.
Gratitude is always shift from, negative to positive. Gratitude is definitely key, right? And number three is like, you don't compare. Yeah. They say like, I always remember, my mentor said, don't, losers focus on winners focus on winning, right? So it doesn't matter what other people say. It's not about pleasing, it's not about comparing, it's not about competing. Competing, healthy competition is good, but at the same time, you stay in your lane. You compete with yourself, yourself yesterday, right? So you keep marching on, and you're gonna be better and better, so and the last thing is like, how do you lift other people's feeling? That's also another mantra that I always adopt.
I totally love that one. Is that from Maya Angelou or?
Right? There's a lot of people actually said that, through this journey, like, I finally caught it and adopted it, because like sometimes you have your doubt or whatever, right? But really, in this world, right, we want to create connection, meaningful connections with other people, right? Not just a superficial, but really meaningful conversation with other people, and then ultimately, it's not about, okay, let me sell you this, or you sell me this, or like, like because every business owner have that passion for their own business, right? I found out, like, so it's not about, let me tell you what I do, what, like, you tell me what I do. No, I mean, it's about really meaningful connection, caring about each other's, caring about helping each other grow, in our journey. I think it's very key. And that's what I learned. Let me provide value to you first, before, anything else, so it's
how do you provide value first?
It's
your method. How do you?
I'm sorry. It depends. You have to start with asking questions.
Okay.
Right.
Or listening. Basically asking questions and listening for them.
Yeah, listen to understand, listen to guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not listen to respond. My mentor was like, did you listen to respond?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had that problem years ago, and I think we're talking about the same mentor, Wally. And she actually, I remember when I asked her for her help, and she taught me about how to listen, listen, understand, not respond.
Yeah, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm still I'm aware. I'm aware to be more intentional when I listen. Am I really listening to, it actually, we always say, like, what will Walling do? It's kind of stuff in my head now, like that. Whenever I meet someone new, I will say, like, what will I do?
Yeah.
So it's just, I think leaving people feeling better than they were before they met you is so key. And it's daily impact you can create, right? A daily impact, small, big, it depends, right? So it's okay as long as you leave people better, in better mindset, better financially, better feeling, so they have better hope for the tomorrow. It's just about, like you always mention, on sharing the light, and for each other's, and just creating a community of, that's encouraging and empowering each other.
And being themselves, being their best self, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Those are great mantras, and you shared this before, and I'm glad you're sharing it again. It's a good reminder for me as well. But I've been also applying those in my journey, to build Booming Aces and everything else. So I think that has helped have pulled me forward as well, by remembering that. And so I have two last questions on the podcast. Number one is because I believe, I know you already shared a lot of message, for our audience just now. Do you have any, like, one final message today, like that you want to share with our audience that you feel could help them feeling, like a little bit better than before they hear about this,
Actually, I just feel like in 2021, right? I mean, 2020 is posed a lot of challenges for a lot of people and family. We have challenges, but we also have blessings, and we continue constantly counting our blessings in 2020 and going to 2021. Just want to understand that I'm a normal person. If I can do this, you can do this, right? And believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I have faith and I believe in the Lord, and I always count on that. We pray for each other, just give each other hope. And it just create a community of supportive, being supportive and empowering is always to just grow together, grow together in this journey, right? Everyone has their own chapter, everyone has their own story. You can build your own story, right? You have an options, you have a choice, right? You have the choice to change, your journey. If you're not in the right path, you have a choice to change your path in 2021, right? To make it better. And only you know that what dream life you have ahead of you, right? We are here if you need help. We are here if you don't know where to start. We're just in Blooming Aces, we're very open to meaningful conversations, really.
Absolutely, I want to call out one thing is, like, you said that believe in yourself. Now, sometime during COVID time, I have to say I did not, like, I that's a moment, remember my lowest moment when I just like, oh, I panicked. And then Erni was the one person that regained this for me. Okay. the importance. This is what I want to just emphasize on the importance of believing in yourself and believing, like, helping each other believe in each other. She said, Erna, I have faith in you that you can figure this out. I remember you saying that you're okay. I'm like, I paused from my panic and I suddenly, you're right. What am I panicking about? I'm still alive. I'm still healthy, and I have all the resources, that I can, except maybe some financial hurdle, but I'm like, I can figure this out, so, but I remember, like, it takes someone else to tell you that, someone that care about you and, like, really not just like surface friend, friendship that is all you're gonna be okay, but you feel that I feel like you know me so well that I believe you, like I trust you for trusting me. You know what I'm saying? That there's this like trust that you're not just saying it, but you really believe it. And then because of your belief in me, I believe in myself again. So I think that's that's
I think association, like they always say, like association, people you surround yourself with is really key. And mentor at the same time, mentors, right, to guide you, then keep you, challenge you to get to the next level. Like the mentors there to challenge you, and then there's a sideline support that you need to always be there for you along the way, along with the mentor. I think it's very important, so that you don't go off track. Stay focused.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Ernie. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Always, and we will not necessarily like have the same opinion at the same time always, but we always circle back and we are on the same page, and we grow better and wiser as we go along. The last question I have is, because you're a mom and I know family is so important to you, I would like to ask you to leave like one important message for each of your family member. What would you like to say?
No, each of family member. Wait, who?
If you have to leave one message for your husband, your daughter, and your son, what will it be?
Okay.
I know it's a hard one. It's a pop-up question right here. I thought it's a fun one for me.
I think with my husband, I want to be a better wife for him, actually.
Okay. How?
Yeah. To be more respectful in the way I speak, I guess.
Oh, I see.
Gotcha. And then, I believe in him. And then for my son, he's just fun, and I want to make sure to believe in his own, whatever vision he has. Just pursue it. Really, I trust his vision that he can do the impossible, right? And only he know that, right? And then for my daughter, she's very more sensitive and thoughtful one, and just continue to be, and she's super patient. So just continue to be patient with people and understanding, and continue to be thoughtful, and don't let anyone else, don't let anyone change.
Artists too.
They all actually artists. All three of them are artists.
Family are artists.
All three of them are artists. Yeah. So they can express themselves, freely.
Cool.
Yeah. So
thank you for sharing those thoughts, and you have great insight. Every time I talk to Erni, she's like my go-to, person, partner, best friend, my sister, and I think she has sacrificed the most, of her time. That she is like it's a commodity that's kind of hard to come by, with your wisdom and time. So I really appreciate you coming on today to share your thoughts and really great insights and messages to our audience. So I really appreciate you, and looking forward to doing this again in the future for a different topic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Erni.
Thank you, Erna.
All right, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this episode with Erni Wang and learn a few insights about embracing challenges and turning it into a learning curve and growth opportunities in life. Now we can learn from Erni's examples to really like take a look at our challenges, whether it is from stranger, from client, or from spouse, and even from our children, because sometimes there is a way for universe to actually stop us through the challenges and make us learn a new perspective, and that could be a great thing for our journey. So we all are growing, and that's why we're here in Blooming Aces. We would like to continue to share all those new perspectives, new insight that we can all learn from together. Now, if this resonates with you, please hit like and also share it with someone who might need to hear this, and subscribe for our next episode. And thank you again for watching. Please stay safe, stay well, and be happy. And let's continue growing together. Have a good one.